Alright, I'm going to come back and watch the last few minutes of this video because it is very, very good and interesting. And I was just a little emotional, you know. I sure know how to dish shit out, so, you know, get beat up along the way, it's fine. But this is the shocking reality. When you have to wake up and accept the fact that every single movie you have ever seen was a setup. When you realize, if you can hear screaming noises, it's because my kids' school is letting out and the little hooligans from the high school are getting out and they're just loud. But when you start to play board games in your mind, when you start playing kid games like Chutes and Ladders, Don't Wake Daddy, when you start seeing up on the left-hand side a chessboard, and when you start playing Candyland and Sorry, and you start understanding that your brain is a bop it, that you need to twist and pull. You need to twist it, pull it, don't bop it. If you feel like you have to bop it, then stop it, is how it starts. And from that Tower of Terror video, when I was done going up and down and up and down and being terrified, I was dropped into a huge place. It was a huge, barren, dreary land, but it kind of looked like Vormir from the Guardians of the Galaxy movies or the Avengers movies or whatever. It was not until after I left the nut house and was waiting for a real doctor's appointment that I'm watching the NF video for the search. And after seeing what people were going through in the nut house and people talking about similar things in their mind, and then I go and I see the search video and I realized that we are all getting thrown into, similar enough, depending on what your eyes have seen, areas of a video game inside of your mind that you're gonna have to fucking beat. And if you've ever watched Squid Games, you have to play kid games until you go deeper, and you have to start playing Squid Games. These pieces of shit, especially, oh man, it was fucked up. It's just so fucked up. Every single thing our children have heard or seen, especially with their eyes, is real shit. Real levels that you have now, no matter what, created to entrap yourself. If you ever feel like you are in your mind and you are looking down and to the left, and if you ever see yourself in the fetal position in the middle of a fucking labyrinth, or that big hedge maze from Harry Potter, you know that you are at a temporary dead end, and that is not a good look. And you have to just kind of go to work. I started my own painting business, and I was working full-time while I was going through everything that I was going through, because I have kids that have to eat no matter what is going on with me. And if I can do it, you can do it. But, you are going to have to cross. If you imagine yourself trying to cross that bridge from Squid Games, that glass bridge, you are getting very, very fucking deep. And there is a light at the end of the tunnel. If you ever feel like you are in a cave that has collapsed, Goonies style, and the exit is blocked by a rubble pile of rocks, and whether you can or cannot see the light at the end of the tunnel, you're gonna have to dig. You are going to have to fight like fucking hell. Because the deeper within your mind you are, it's a video game, guys. A very difficult to beat video game. And when I was playing, I felt other people who were at about the same level that I was. And it felt like I was playing Squid Games and Kid Games with other people. And that I could feel when players were eliminated. And something happened as I was crossing that glass bridge in Squid Games. I got to the end of it. And, that's how you know that you're starting to experience densities. And you're starting to experience depth. When you go from playing flat kid games to 3D, like Squid Games. And toward the end of my shadow work that I didn't know I was fucking doing, I started to understand that I was at the bottom. It was like once I beat that bridge, then I was reverted down to the bottom of that bridge. And I had to look up. And literally, there was like, probably 6 of us on the ground, literally trying to catch people when they fell. And if this is all just a delusion, well, I know that all it would take is some neurological psychological testing to get to the bottom of my condition, but nobody will call me back. And if you ever get to the point where you are at the bottom of anything, trying to catch anybody else who is falling, you're going to have to get to a point where you realize that you can't stay there and continue to catch people. You have to keep going because you're almost out. And this really pisses me off about schizophrenic, truly schizophrenic people. I don't even know what that is. I think that schizophrenia is nothing more than dark entity attachments puppeting people. Dark entity attachments fucking railing. You don't know how bad it is until you have the balls to look in the mirror and stop and go, am I brainwashed? Is there any way I'm part of the problem? Would I ride for my kids at fucking dawn, no matter what the secrets of the world were, and no matter how bad it hurt me? What in the fuck would I do for my kids and yours is anything. You have to literally be so fucking brave, because once you leave the more advanced area, you're going to come to a hall of mirrors, and all of the mirrors were busted early on. Like, it was literally like a chandelier in my mind fell from the sky and broke, literally broke into bajillions of fucking pieces. And
I just listed, these are all spiritual projections and archaic collective entities of the Jehovian Grids that they seem to link in, and then they generate one another. They generate this revelation, or this, for some, it will be an apocalyptic experience as well. So there will be some that are on that collective wave of the apocalyptic experience, and those who will be going through a revelation. So we also have,
the nut house was full of people freaking out about the apocalypse. This has been so intricately set up against God, us, that it's very hard to not want to throw the fuck up and beat the fuck out of people. I swear to fucking God. It is sickening how fucked up our children will be if we make it through the next 6 years and Nibiru doesn't come around and zap us. Look around, guys. I'd never even heard of an Anunnaki or Nibiru or anything before a year ago, and well, I'm fucking talking about it now, for sure. And people who think that they know the Elijah story, I think that I saw some things about, oh, he outran a chariot. He was so fast. He outran this chariot and was super powerful. Yeah. Jehovian Anunnaki is really ringing a bell, and it has since the beginning of this shit. There's Draconian Anunnaki, and I'm not really all that fucking positive what the difference is, because it's easier. It's just easier to go, oh shit, they're all so similar, it's hard to tell them apart. Unless you want to dig deeper and get into the Omicrons and the chromatons and all these things. It's just easier to process when you understand that, oh fuck, the God of the Bible that I thought loved me so much actually wants me to off myself because it's an Anunnaki, fallen extraterrestrial. And in the grand scheme of things, Jesus was a baby. He or they, if there were three, whatever. The whole Jesus thing, honestly, becomes, holy fuck, what a fucking shame. This is the biggest bait and switch bullshit I have ever seen. They perfectly timed with all of this bullshit. Spent a couple thousand years brainwashing everybody into this one small character of Lord and Savior who is on the grand scale scheme of things so young compared to what the reality is and the entities that are here playing right now. This place is stagnant and stale because people have been stuck here for so long, and you have to get out of your mind quick, because this is one ship. We are all on the same ship, going down, swinging, hopefully. And hopefully we don't have to go down. But, if you've ever seen that Insidious advertisement for their new movie, you'll see a red door. The amount of red doors and themed shows that involve being trapped in your mind and having to go through fucking agonizing hell to get through a door, specifically a red one, as seen in the show The Originals. I rail against Eric Kripke, the boys in Supernatural, so bad. Because I am so fucked off at how everything in this whole world was literally so set up against me. The show The Originals and their Elijah character. These motherfuckers knew exactly who these very powerful players have been. And what you would see if you were a fan of the show The Boys, Supernatural, or The Originals. Take those three shows. Common theme. People being trapped in their minds and not being able to get out of a door. That is actors acting like us, trying to keep us trapped in our minds and unable to get out of that door.
Saturn and Pluto in conjunction, those are going to be in Aquila currently, and they will move into Cygnus soon. We have Uranus and Taurus at 2 degrees, and this is considered within the Pleiadian markers, all according to Indian sidereal lunar mansions degrees, which is the foundation to the methodology that I prefer to look at, because I do feel it's most in alignment to the 13-20 degree markers, which I have been shown align to the closest original Earth template. And of course, we do have the North planetary node in Sirius, Cancer at 6 degrees Cancer. So that's going to be Sirius as well. So these new codes are dismantling the internal Templars. And this is happening biologically, this is happening planetarily. The Sephiras, or the realms or worlds which are withheld within these idealisms or within the sciences of these ideas, and within the universal trees of biological and planetary life, for each individual gridding system to have to work through this dismantling and this new encodement. So this may look more like more perceivable transparency and higher matter density existences and experiences, also heightened interrupted plasma transmissions. So you might be receiving some interference. You may also be experiencing,
as I said in the description for my first part of this video, there were people freaking out at the nut house because of things like experiencing crowns of thorns and experiencing things just like this, perfectly on time. People freaking out about wormwood. I never even knew what wormwood was, except for a perfectly placed prophecy within the war episode of Supernatural. I am so fucking pissed.
like third-party interference as these particular grids, the dove grid demolitions, the distortions in these particular grid structures. This also is going to awaken the entire networking system overall, all running on the 30-degree horizontal ley line north currents running east. And this, like I said, this is the true grid that does feed the Bermuda Triangle wormholes, the phantom matrix. These accelerate the descending areas to capture beings for excessive mind control and controlling of the DNA. And this will rip and tear in the space-time fabric. And the Phoenix grid does run 4th through 7th dimensional intersections, and this links in.
I see my kids walking across the street. Okay, I'm going to end my rant again. But what I will say is I've been thinking about these poor kids and people who have been traveling to Hogwarts. In their minds, they've been reality shifting and being called crazy. What I think could be happening is these fucking pieces of shit in Hollywood know the game so well at all of these levels because they're a bunch of reptilian pieces of shit. And I think that everything that we see in movies, like the whole Hogwarts scene, and the whole everything to do with Hogwarts, that could be a very real place within this video game universe we're living in. And people are shifting their consciousness there. They are just being sucked the fuck over there. They're experiencing a whole fuckload of time in a small amount of time. And then they're coming back crying, going, oh, so much happier there. I want to go back. This is fucking bullshit. And then they're being called crazy. Everybody's crazy. Except the bad guys, huh? Is what it looks like.